It's been a significant increase. It's tested our system to the limits it can reach.
Now at 5, testing sites trying to keep up with everyone who wants a COVID test. Tonight, the new at-home testing option that could help thin the lines.
Small business are big business in Indiana, but they need your help to survive. The push to get you to shop small and local.
And free flu shots without getting out of your car. The drive-through effort to get you vaccinated, that's happening tomorrow.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Welcome in. First at 5, a dire new forecast from the CDC today predicting the U.S. COVID-19 death toll could rise to 298,000 by December 12th, with the virus showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, here in Indiana, the number of new cases is on the rise again, and hospitalizations are at an all-time high. Today, the State Health Department reported 7,420 additional positive tests. That's the second highest number since the record-setting 8,000 plus over the weekend. The results reported today were recorded November 2nd through yesterday. 59 more people in Indiana have died with COVID. Those deaths occurred October 30th through yesterday. The statewide total is nearly 4,900. Hospitalizations are at another all-time high. In fact, they've been on a steady daily climb since November 14th. The number of COVID and suspected COVID patients in states' hospitals was 3,063 as of yesterday. However, 21% of the state's ICU beds and 73% of the state's ventilators are still available.
COVID-19 testing sites across the country are also seeing an increase in people, including right here in Indiana. But a newly approved testing option may be the answer to help bring down long lines and allow you to test yourself right at home. Our Alyssa Donovan has those details.
Here at Franciscan Health, their COVID-19 testing site is averaging about 360 people every day. But a new testing option may help bring those numbers down.
This week, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration issued an emergency use authorization for a COVID-19 rapid test by Lucira Health that you can use right at home. There are diagnostic tests for in-home collection, but this is the first that can be self-administered from start to finish, with results in 30 minutes. It's also authorized for use in doctors' offices, ERs, and hospitals. The hope is that this can help with contact tracing and bringing down the influx of people at testing sites like these.
What we would expect is that fewer people will need to come to the hospital to get their test. They can either do it at home or they can do it through the office, their doctor's office. And so that'll be really helpful to us.
The test will be available by prescription, right now only on a limited basis. The company expects the at-home test to be more widely available in the spring. I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
The pandemic also continues to take a toll on the economy and the job market. The number of Hoosiers filing for unemployment benefits is on the rise again. The U.S. Department of Labor says last week more than 16,000 Hoosiers filed for unemployment for the first time. That's up from 14,000 the week before. First-time unemployment claims were up nationally as well. Claims have been elevated since the pandemic started forcing business activity to be circulated back in March.
President-elect Joe Biden today met virtually with a bipartisan group of governors discussing critical steps needed to help states deal with the coronavirus pandemic. But he continues to forge ahead with this transition despite not receiving the key resources and access to the current administration. ABC's Alex Perche has more from Washington.
President-elect Biden listening to a bipartisan group of governors today on how best to help states combat the coronavirus pandemic. U.S. deaths have now passed 250,000, with infections in the country topping 11 million. Now, with hopes of a vaccine arriving as soon as next month, many states say the challenge is finding the money to quickly distribute it. So far, the Trump administration is preventing the Biden transition team from accessing crucial government coronavirus data.
And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't see this as a red state issue or a blue state issue. I see this, we're all in this together.
The Trump-appointed General Services Administrator is refusing to provide Biden access to transition resources, saying she hasn't ascertained that he won the election.
Unfortunately, because of the lack of what they call discernment by the GSA, my transition team, hasn't been able to get access to information we need.
Meanwhile, President Trump, who has yet to address the recent surge in the virus, continues to focus on the election results. Today, ABC News confirming that he's invited Michigan lawmakers to meet with him at the White House on Friday in hopes of overturning the will of the voters. And sources tell ABC News that the evening before, 2 Republican canvassers in Wayne County, Michigan, signed affidavits trying to rescind their votes to certify the election results, the president called them. They had initially refused to certify the outcome of the election in the county, which includes the majority black city of Detroit, that set off outrage during a virtual public forum. Then they backtracked. But after that conversation with the president, they flipped again.
ABC News reached out to both Republican canvassers. Right now, we don't know if their decision to reverse their vote was discussed with the president. A spokesperson for the Michigan Secretary of State brushed off the idea that they could rescind their vote, saying that it's out of their hands now. President-elect Joe Biden leads Trump by 150,000 votes there. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Some warming winds today, but they did get a little gusty at times. Close to 50-mile-per-hour gusts in Indianapolis, about 45 there in the Bloomington and Kokomo area. Shelbyville, a little bit lighter there as you had gusts close to 40 miles per hour this afternoon. And as we look across central Indiana, it is that southerly flow here. Still seeing those gusts generally between about 30 and 40 miles per hour in a few spots. 38-mile-per-hour gust for you right now in Muncie. As we look at that wind gust forecast here the next several hours, it will taper a little bit, but it's still going to be a breezy night for us. Those southwest winds gusting around 30 to 35 miles per hour. We've got those sunny skies. We've had a few clouds moving through from time to time, but look at those temperatures, feeling pretty good out there, even with the breezy conditions. We're at 63 in Indianapolis right now, sitting at 64 in Muncie and Shelbyville. As we go through the rest of your evening forecast here, the sun will be setting pretty quickly at 5:26, but we're not going to see a quick drop off in those temperatures, as we'll have a few clouds around and it'll still be a little bit on the breezy side. But we've got a cool down coming up for the weekend. More on that in just a bit.
Governor Eric Holcomb today named the person who will become the state's first Secretary of Education. Dr. Katie Jenner, his senior education advisor, will begin her new role on January 11th. She has been an educator since 2005. Holcomb signed a bill in 2017 to make Indiana's top education official an appointed position rather than one elected by voters beginning in 2025. But after current superintendent of instruction, Dr. Jennifer McCormick, announced she would not seek a second term. State lawmakers passed a bill last year that moved up the transition to 2021.
Tomorrow is the last day on the job for the top federal prosecutor in Indianapolis. Ahead of his departure, WRTV's Rafael Sanchez spoke with Josh Minkler about how he feels he made Hoosiers safer during his time as prosecutor and what's needed to reduce violent crime.
What has been the accomplishment of your team?
Certainly the Richard Grundy case would be first and foremost in gangs that were eliminated. But we were able to not just prosecute Grundy, but prosecute his entire organization that was responsible for all that violence. That entire gang was eliminated and made the streets of Indianapolis safer. Finally, I think I'm proud of our continued dedication to public corruption. As you know, I grew up in Muncie, Indiana. That's my mom still lives in the house I grew up in Muncie. And we had there a government that from the top down was corrupt, that chose to serve themselves and not the public. So we were able to prosecute the mayor and the entire organization there that led that corruption.
We're seeing a lot of gun violence, and I know that you worked a great deal with your partners across the board. What more can cities and states do with their federal partners to get a hold on the situation?
Enforcement, prevention, and reentry. And if those three are combined and they are given the resources they need, that will reduce violent crime.
Well, Minkler says another top priority has been taking on child exploitation cases and speaking for the victims. You can watch more of Rafael's conversation with the Wabash College and IU Law School grad on our website at WRTV.com. Minkler is leaving the post to take a job in private practice starting Monday. And just in time for the holidays, Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears is relaunching the Good Faith Child Support Initiative. This allows non-custodial parents who have lost their driver's licenses due to non-payment of child support to start a payment program and get their license back. Mears first launched the program last December, and 105 people signed up then. It was renewed again in August and will return in December from the 1st through the 31st. To connect to this program, you can call the Good Faith Hotline at 317-327-2700.
It is time to make your list and check it twice for your holiday shopping. And this year, more than ever, it is so important to try to shop small and help those businesses rebound from the pandemic. Small businesses are essential to our Indiana economy. With more than 500,000 small businesses in the state, they employ 50% of Hoosiers. This afternoon, the SBA did a walking tour of small businesses in Franklin and Greenwood to visit local stores and hear their stories from this year. For many, this year has been tough. Without the SBA's Payment Protection Program loan, a lot of small businesses that spoke to us say they would not have been able to survive to this point. And the SBA is urging shoppers to continue to support them so these stores can continue to stay in our communities.
We had prepared for a fairly big year this year, and then it just, as with most people, I don't feel like we have a special sad story, but when you kind of like most other businesses, we're struggling. People have made such an effort to come in and buy things from us that we really appreciate that, because it shows us that we're not just doing all this for nothing, that people do, it does matter that we're here or not.
Store managers and owners say to shop early this year, especially if you have to order anything, since supply chains and shipping times are slow with the COVID-19 restrictions in place. Small Business Saturday is celebrated the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which falls on November 28th.
Now headed your way on WRTV News at 5. Plenty of people are stepping forward to help in the fight against COVID-19, but undergoing vaccine tests. They're getting paid for their willingness, but tonight we're learning about a financial pitfall. Coming in at 6'6", you're going to meet the newest Pacer and hear what he learned during his short stint in college basketball. The Pacers' one and only draft pick just ahead.
And the weekend just around the corner, but so is that next chance for some wet weather. We'll talk about when about a ½ inch of rain or more could fall, and you'll need to reach for that umbrella. You're watching WRTV News at 5.
Just wanted to make a quick clarification here on the Good Faith Child Support Initiative in Marion County and the number to call. This allows non-custodial parents who have lost their driver's licenses due to non-payment of child support to start a payment program and get their license back. To connect to this program, you can call the Good Faith hotline at this number. It's 317-327-2700. The testing that's underway on potential coronavirus vaccines is serious business. Many participants are being compensated for taking part, but consumer reporter John Matarese is alerting you to one offer that is raising some serious questions, so you don't waste your money.
More than 30,000 Americans are now participating in a COVID vaccine trial, and many of them are earning hundreds of dollars for their efforts. But one offer to participate is raising a lot of questions. Nancy Brashear opened her mail to find this, an offer to earn money if she joined a COVID-19 vaccine test.
I got a letter from Accurian Health looking for volunteers for COVID-19 vaccine studies, promising up to $1,200 if you participate.
It looked promising, but then Nancy got suspicious. Nancy started to wonder how they knew that she'd be a good candidate for a vaccine trial. Did someone with a hospital, doctor's office, or pharmacy actually sell her health information?
How do they get your information? That really bothers me.
We called and emailed Accurian Health to find out how they got her name, but did not hear back. Accurian is a legitimate company and states it's a data firm that connects people with medical trials. It does not do the testing. Were you concerned they knew your medical history?
Yes. Where did they get this information? HIPAA laws make your history private.
A report in Gizmodo, how a company you've never heard of sends you letters about your medical condition, quotes Accurian saying it purchases public information and lifestyle data to find candidates. And Nancy found that if you decide to apply, you will then have to give much more medical information.
If you go on the website, you have to go through steps to do that. So they're looking.
And even though she could make some money, she says thanks, but no thanks. Interested in a trial? The NIH, National Institutes for Health, has a government website that lists all the trials going on now. Now you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese, WRTV.
And just a reminder, IU School of Medicine is one of the testing sites for AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine, and they are still looking for participants to take part in the trial. Just over 200 participants have started the trial at this point. If you're interested in signing up, look for the AstraZeneca story at WRTV.com/coronavirus. Getting a flu shot is more important than ever this year due to COVID-19. You can get a free one tomorrow, November 20th, thanks to the Colts, Meyer, and the State Health Department. They've teamed up to host a free flu shot clinic Friday outside of Lucas Oil Stadium from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's open to anyone regardless of insurance coverage. Vehicles should enter from Gate 8, located off South Capitol Avenue. You will have to fill out paperwork, get your temperature taken, and pass a verbal COVID-19 screening before receiving a shot. You will remain in your car when receiving the shot. Walk-ups are also welcome. You should enter at Gate 7 off South Capitol.
The Pacers front office had a late night Wednesday. The long wait to make their one and only draft pick is bringing a Blue Devil to Indy. The Pacers selected Cassius Stanley with the 54th overall pick last night. The 6'6" guard played just a single college season at Duke University. He averaged 12 points per game, was selected to the ACC All-Freshman team. Cassius talked last night about what he learned in playing his 1 year of college ball.
I think I just really learned to be a student of the game. I think I really learned how to, analyze more game film and pick up on more things like scouting the other team or picking up on tendencies and strategies. And I think at this next level, I think just to improve, I think I just got to be more consistent.
The new NBA season will begin December 22nd. The Pacers will learn part of their schedule after Thanksgiving. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast, and warmer and a windy sum up today, and some of those winds have been pretty strong. I told you I was nervous about my little dog.
Leo blowing away. Yeah, it could happen out there. We've had some strong winds.
Catch air.
You know.
You know that could happen with him. He's tiny.
Only imagine blowing there right by the NCAA headquarters, maybe. There you can see some of those flags flapping in the winds that we had that gusted close to 50 miles per hour earlier this afternoon. Happy to report, though, that Leo is just fine, stayed there on the ground. 65, though, so it was a warming wind, not quite to a record, but not too far away either. 76 there, set in 1930, and temperatures still very pleasant out there this evening. Most areas are still in the 60s. 59 for you, though, in Richmond, 62 in Greenfield and Crawfordsville at a mild 64 degrees, and there is a beautiful view of that sunset in Greencastle and the DePauw University campus. We've got that temperature in the lower 60s downtown, humidity at just 27%, so that combined with those breezy conditions has kind of elevated the fire danger throughout the afternoon. But of course, when we get those gusty winds, it kind of does that on its own. It's all because of this area of high pressure off to our southeast and the flow between that and low pressure off to the northwest. But this Big L, that's going to continue to scoot away to the northeast here as we go through tonight, and that will allow those winds to not be quite as gusty. Still, I think we'll have wind gusts between about 20 and 30 miles per hour, but look at that overnight temperature. 49 degrees, average high, lower 50s. So we're not going to be too far away from that, even as we start off our Friday. Now, the change on Friday, we're going to have more clouds around. It's also not going to be as windy. We'll have that southwest wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour with temperatures that get to the mid 50s for you at noon. And I think once again, we'll get into the lower 60s in many locations. So another above average day at 63 in the Columbus area, 64 in Lafayette, and right at an even 60 in Richmond. Now the weekend, that's where we do get some changes here, and we've been dialing back these temperatures as it looks like it'll be a little bit cooler. Highs only around 50 Saturday and Sunday. Saturday brings a few showers, a little more widespread rain though in the Sunday forecast. And here's TrueCast, 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. You can see the best chance for rain here early Saturday will be near and south of I-70. Then as we go into the overnight hours into Sunday morning, rain becoming a little more widespread. Can't rule out a brief wintry mix, but it should not be a big deal for us here. It will quickly then start to warm up and transition us all back over to some rainfall here as we go into the day on Sunday. Right now, models generally in agreement about 3/4 to an inch of rainfall coming our way. 7-day planning forecast now as we put it all together for you there, and that mild high of 63 will fall to around 50 degrees here for the upcoming weekend. As we look ahead to next week, we've got 45, some cool temperatures there as we start off a short week for many on Monday, because then we get into Wednesday. Rain is likely there at 50, and then for Thanksgiving right now should be dry and mild as we'll have highs in the middle 50s.
Still ahead tonight, some beloved holiday classics are returning to regular TV. The deal worked out so you can once again see the Charlie Brown classics you've watched since childhood. Well, Charlie Brown and friends, there's Charlie Brown and Snoopy there, will be celebrating the holidays on TV after all. Apple and PBS have inked a deal to show the beloved holiday specials on broadcast TV. This deal comes after Apple faced widespread backlash when it announced the holiday classics would only air on Apple TV+. Well, now you can watch A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving on Sunday, November 22nd. A Charlie Brown Christmas will air on Sunday, December 13th. Both PBS showings will air commercial-free. The Peanuts holiday specials will also stream ad-free and in HD on Apple TV+. Good news for everybody there. A local nurse contracted COVID-19 and to survive had to get a double lung transplant. Tonight at 6, she shares her incredible story.
And primping and pampering for its big debut, the special treatment, the Downtown Cherub, is getting ahead of its holiday return.